All right, this is session 4 of 4, 7th Sea, second edition, and we are playing in the Crescent Empire, a great source book for Middle Eastern cultures in the 7th Sea world. I'm kind of excited about it. We're going to see Kitai coming out. We've got the one set for the New World and the Aztecs. I have it, but I haven't looked at it. And Lands of Fire and Gold, which is going to cover the African empires. Which I'm super excited about. I've never, we've only seen a few games actually cover that, so I'm looking forward to that. We are in the midst of horrible things happening to the PCs, and I'll frame up what occurred from last time. They have been on the trail of their arch villain, the Master of Disguise, known as Ibn Mashhul. And they had followed Ibn Mashhul to the city of Azkanak. And how they'd followed him is that, or her, or them, you don't know what the gender of Ibn Mashhul is. Anyway, they'd gone along following this caravan that was a scholarly caravan. Eventually, it's heading out into the 8th Sea, into the desert. There's a scholar named Scholar Akhmat, who seems to be in charge of it or part of it. They were following that. The caravan arrived here and has come and are now guests of the emir of the city and the local region. So Scholar Akhmat and his archaeological expedition caravan are currently at the palace of the emir, the lake palace for this lakeside great city. They followed, and they believe that Ibn Mashhul has found a way into the caravan somehow. They investigated here. They met with one of our characters' distant cousins, Zev's distant cousin, another Yachidi, who is here in the city and who provided them with shelter and kindness and family and food and all sorts of happiness. And they investigated and were able to discover a number of things. Most importantly, I think, in terms of things that definitely there is some weird supernatural things. It certainly interfered with some of the divinations that were done or the visions that were given to Malco last time. And when they investigated, they found out that the daughter of the scholar, they got some names about people who were in that caravan. The daughter of the scholar has been coming into town and buying some odd things. Not definitely magical, but weird enough that it has drawn your attention. And of course, people who use magic, sorcerers, practitioners, they tend to keep themselves quiet now, even though the Sultana has given permission that they are not to be harmed, they'll be treated as equal citizens. There are a lot of people who are still deeply suspicious of those who practice one of the various forms of magic. So the group came together to discuss the situation, and in the midst of that conversation, they realized that a fire had broken out. And they rushed out and rescued people and put out the fires and went outside and fought against essentially these thugs that had clearly been hired to burn the building down and kill anyone who came out. They fought them and defeated them, and they were able to save many, but not all of the people in the building. And there were a couple of the adults who were going to rescue some of the kids who did, but at the cost of their own lives. And so it is somewhat somber when we're going to come back into the group. Now, some of you are injured. Your standard wounds will clear. That is anything that's just the standard X, not the dramatic wounds. And then let us look at this. We have Miracle Worker, right?
Yeah, I think I have to roll for that one because it says spend a hero point and a raise to recover a dramatic wound from an ally.
Yes, so if you wish to do that, you may do that.
All right, I think this is going to be what's the doctor skill here?
With scholarship.
Yeah, I think scholarship and would wits make sense?
Wits makes sense to me.
All right, let me pull out the roller. And I think what I'm gonna do is do the lay on hands thing, and it's gonna be slightly magical because it has to do with the magic texts from the that my other cousin deciphered, and I've been practicing. I guess, or not practicing, but this is my first time
Studying,
actually.
right.
Yeah, I've been studying them, so I'm thinking that's straight 3, skill 3, because my scholarship is 3. So I get to reroll bonus dice. One for first time.
Yes, and you described it. You're using this text, so that seems like flair to me.
Okay. And I will roll.
Who are you helping? I might be able to give you some extra dice.
All she needs is one raise to do this. So don't.
I have 4 raises.
Okay. So
and it's what and I think the way it's worded is it's per dramatic wound I need to spend a hero point and raise.
Yes, so you can heal up to 4 dramatic wounds. Before you do that, I will say that given that you guys have had some hours to rest and recover, and that they would have gotten you some time, I will say that everybody can recover 1 dramatic wound before Maria does this extra Benny stuff. Does that seem cool?
All right.
Look how generous your GM is.
So I think I can. So Malco goes down to 1 dramatic wound, and so does Musina. Roshan is fine. I'm at 2 dramatic wounds still. I cannot heal myself, so I will spend 2 hero points to heal Musina and Malco. And 2 of my races, so there are 2 remaining races. And by the way, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out of 9. I think I am going to sell you 2 dice.
Okay, absolutely. Says the person who
no, wait,
moments ago.
One die. It's 1 die. It's 1 die. I made a mistake. I only have 1.
Just moments ago, was saying don't sell him dice. Okay.
I mean, don't sell them too many dice. Right. What I meant.
2 mechanical questions.
Absolutely.
Before I was generously healed and then healed with rest, I had 2 dramatic wounds, and it says villains gain 2 bonus dice. Is that cumulative through the party if other people are also injured, or is it when you are the target, your wounds only apply for when you're the target of something a villain does?
Yeah, it would be better if it was the second way, but it's not.
So if we've got a bunch of dramatic wounds, then you just get piles of dice.
But only villains, not brute squads.
Okay.
Yeah,
only named villains get it.
So you're big named NPCs, the ones,
right.
Big tough guys.
The true threats, the duelists, and named folks.
I do like what some of those other dramatic wounds look like, though.
Yeah.
Because those are beneficial.
Oh, yeah.
I actually wouldn't have minded keeping that first one. That's true. But now, how do we...
I'll keep that in mind that you want a dramatic wound.
Oh, yeah, obviously. Doesn't look like the face of somebody who wants a dramatic wound.
Also, clear your X's. Those are...
Oh, those go away? Okay, that was the second rules question.
So, yeah, and that's all of the sort of the non-lethal damage, the bruises and the exhaustion and the inhalation of the smoke that you're able to clear. The local Yachidi, since most of your people tend to live in the same neighborhoods here in the city, kind of keep together to share their cultures. Within a few hours, all of the children and the family members who have survived have been kind of spread out amongst the various Yachidi households here. and your cousin will come to you, and he apologizes
No, I must
for
apologize.
no. There are some people who do not appreciate the Yachidi people present.
This is not. It's my fault for bringing you into this mess with some people.
You think they were after you?
Yeah, they were definitely after us.
And he'll grow somber, and he will say, I am sure that my wife would have been gracious to you in this, but my heart is heavy. So I must tend to the family. I apologize that I cannot provide you further hospitality.
That is fair. I understand.
And he definitely goes away a little slump-shouldered. His older kids will come and move him along.
I will, as he walks away, or before he walks away, I sort of take his hands and I will remove like a bead from my strand of beads around my neck that represent my deaths. And I say, this is a sign of my friendship and oath to you. This came on your head unnecessarily, and it comes with my apologies. Please walk in peace. And I'm going to press it into his hand. And as I do, I kind of mutter a little prayer, but in so doing, as I touch him and, kind of do the same thing to the children, I'm going to use Guardian's Peace just to try to alleviate some of that stress to them.
And I think this definitely is in your demesnes,
Yeah.
the grief of death and the feeling of death, and so you will keep them from falling deeper down into that despair as they leave. And he will thank you and clutch the bead. There is that moment when you take it off, though.
Mm-hmm.
That, of course, you have that brief flash where you relive that death for yourself. And
I'm also putting it in somebody else's hands to kind of hold over me. But I have that quirk about saving somebody else from witnessing the horror and pain of death. So I'm just leaving myself open for that.
So I will assume that you guys are, if you want to have a place that you can stay at, an inn or a tavern or something like that, you can do that. If you want to go somewhere else, you can. Or if you want to take action right away, what is the next step for the group here?
Well, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Maria.
Sorry, my vote is to take action right away.
I was going to say, if you wish to take action, remember, the squad that I took out is still totally alive. They are missing Achilles tendons and hamstrings and the backs of knees, but every single one of those assholes is on the ground ready to be interrogated.
Then let's do that.
We gotta just stop the cries of pain so that we can actually hear them. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I guess I'll try to convince them to tell us what's going on by actually healing them and using my empathy and panache, I think.
I don't even think you need to roll for that. I think you are skilled enough you can do that. And you have defeated this squad handily, between intimidation and sheer force, and you took down their leader. And they will say, they are clearly a bandit gang, local thugs for hire. Their leader received payment, and they're not sure of the details, but he said that they were to come here and encircle the building set light to it and kill anyone who came out. And that is what they know. They're at that thing where they are injured and wounded, and they recognize that that you have a bit before the guards are going to come, that you can do anything you want to them, and they are begging for the mercy of Aldin before you, and exclaiming that they will change their ways, and they unfortunately have very little to give of specifics.
Are they able to give us, like, at least the appearance of the person who hired them if they don't have the name? Like, was it done through a proxy, or was it just done through their leader?
Our leader met with someone, I mean, and he'll say, figures come cloaked in the night. They pay us coins, and we do work.
Where did they come? Where did they meet you?
That the tavern house that we are known to frequent.
I look at the rest of you guys.
I think Messina's probably, because of the deaths, is pretty agitated and kind of flips out and goes off on one of them.
Okay. I will say the local guardsmen will arrive.
Yeah.
Now that the fire has been put out. Essentially, the local fire brigade would have, people would have done the fire chain from the well and so on. And the local guardsmen would arrive and attempt to ascertain the situation. And if there are perpetrators that they can arrest, they will arrest them.
Yeah, I think they probably get there just as I'm just laying into them, yelling and screaming that this is if you were here for us, why this family? I mean, why you're thugs? You're useless. You're garbage. You should. I mean, and I just kind of throw up my hands and tell the guards, just take them, get rid of them, kick them out.
The guard captain will come, and he clearly knows some of the Yuchiti, the elders who are here, and he speaks to them before he comes over to you, and he will say, these are the ones who still live, who attacked the house?
Yes.
I'd say these, and I point to some bodies, and these.
He nods. He sees the nature of the brutal justice meted out here. He doesn't take your names. Doesn't write that down, but he will essentially say, I will have the witnesses come and speak before the justice in the morning when the doors open, and we will have these last 5 hanging before the sun sets on the city tonight. And he essentially hauls them up and goes to take them away. And he will head off, and he will say, are you planning on staying in the city?
There's an inn where we may take up. We'll have to take a look at the place to see if it fits our needs, but you might find us there if you need us. And I give the name of the place where this gang takes up, and I quite pointedly say, we might check this place out.
He says, I hope that our paths do not cross again.
Very well.
This town is peaceful most times. And he doesn't say anything more, doesn't threaten you or anything, but he does take them away. Rashawn, what is, you've been quiet throughout this whole set of proceedings.
Oh, I don't think Rashawn was quiet. He just wasn't involved in these direct negotiations. I think he was doing the classic sort of the grieving, like, ripping his shirt, saying, "I don't understand. How can they do this? How can they destroy a wonderful house like this in the family? This is horrible. I cannot believe this. This is such a travesty of justice and God's." And screaming and running around and just being very dramatic and but also in the meanwhile probably going around and checking all the kids and whatnot to see if they're all okay and carrying things around and carrying water and helping to clean up while he's ranting the whole time.
Absolutely. People know the passions of the Persic. When an emotion strikes them, they are excessive in their displays, and so they will recognize that. Yeah, you will be able to get these people situated, and we're perhaps now, when all of that is done, the locals are put into the houses. Things are taken care of. Quiet finally settles on the street, and we are perhaps an hour before dawn when the call to prayer will go. But it is that sort of just starting to get maybe a little bit lighter hour of the morning when you hear the carts and the stalls being set up and people waking up before the dawn. That sort of beginning of the day noise out here in the streets, and you have not slept. What do you want to do? Where do you go from here? To rest, to recover, to investigate?
I'm rather pissed off, so again, my vote is to go straight to the palace.
Yeah, definitely action.
I think going to that,
unless somebody else wants to talk us down from action to something a little cooler. But
Malco says, before we go storming in, perhaps we should know the identity of the one who actually paid out the coin. We may be able to find at least a description if we stop at that inn.
If it's Ibn Majul, that's not going to help us at all.
If it was Ibn Majul, I doubt that they were actually using that name,
and we wouldn't get
doing themselves, but we might get a description of somebody to look for in the palace.
And it might not even be that accurate either. So
better than taking out random innocents hoping they're the right ones.
And I think that does play into your your background, but and it seems to me that it'll be easy for you to go and check, and certainly this is one of those inns of ill repute. It is a hive of scum and villainy here, where the floors are not swept, and it has a certain odor of ketone sweat and drink in here, and heavy tobacco smoke filling the air. So your goal is to get some lead on a person, right? Okay. Why don't you tell me how you would do that?
I actually kind of look to Messina and Rashawn, because I tend to be the, kind of observe quietly person. If they want to talk to somebody, it might be better for them to do it, but I can go in and simply start asking some questions. These individuals have committed a crime. I was wondering if they've been seen with anybody recently, and simply pass out some coin to loosen some lips.
Yeah, one of the things I want to kind of see is when we go in, if a group of thugs were just kind of hired, maybe more than them kind of know that we were the target. I want to see who flinches when we come in.
Let me sort of gumshoe this up here a bit. I think you can pick up a couple of things without getting into complications, without pushing too hard, without expending resources. One is that the person who came, cloaked figures, masks, the wrap around the face. The only detail that they will be able to kind of provide is that they looked more clean and somewhat out of place here. Certainly not someone who comes from this district, clearly an outsider, but nobles and such do come here from time to time to fix things, have things fixed for them. But they will say that whoever came did come and ask for that gang, did know who they were, and did ask, and then went and spoke with their leader. So whoever came and hired them had some local knowledge.
Is knowing male or female something that they would say?
He just assumes male, but he's vague in his description enough that it could be female. Does that seem like fair info?
I look at you guys, say, do any of you want to push this a little further? Or are you eager to crack heads?
I actually don't think Rashawn would have gone in. I think Rashawn would have stayed outside, hiding in the shadows, waiting for somebody to come outside. Because knowing Majul, and I think this is sort of the flashback saying, I'll stay outside because they will have somebody watching this place. They will expect us to come here. And they will send a signal to whoever hired, I think. So I'll wait outside while you go inside, and we'll see if they send somebody, and I will follow them and send you word once I know where they've gone.
That's interesting.
That's smart. I should have thought of that. In character, he says that to Rashawn.
So you have such a charming smile.
So what do you think the appropriate skill is for this? Observation? Is it notice? Or is it something different?
It could be either notice or hide, I guess, because I'm trying not to be seen as I'm doing this. But I think it's probably notice. I think it's probably... I think hide might be more important than this because it's also a matter of unless you want to break it up into two. First I notice and then I follow them without being seen. Yeah, then I think hide's probably the more important one in this case.
Okay. So I will say that in order to spot someone who's kind of hidden themselves away here and be able to follow them back, I'd say that's going to be 2 raises. So that's one thing. And then risk-wise, there's a risk of being noticed, and that's a 3rd raise for that one.
Okay, and he'll have hit himself on the roof across from the tavern.
All right. So if you want, you may make the roll.
Would you like a hero point for that?
Let's see. I only have to get 3 raises. If I get 2 for the fictional position that I described it, then I think I'm actually probably okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh. I got 3 exactly.
3 exactly. So as you suggest, it seems like a reasonable hypothesis that there would be someone who is left to watch. And when all is said and done, you are able to kind of go to the rooftop, and this figure will go through the streets even as dawn is breaking. The rest of your compatriots are back a little ways as you're following. And he goes to the Emir's palace. makes his way there, and goes again, walled, brilliant walls with the minarets and beautiful architecture. The palace itself backs up onto the lake. There are some buildings and things around here. The temples, and this person goes and sort of fades in with the group of people who are coming in the morning, and clearly has some kind of identifier or marker or something to show that he belongs there at the palace. And he definitely holds out some sort of sign, and he is permitted entry through the gates into the inner palace. So the guards either know him or recognize the sign that they are given. Does that seem fair?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So yeah, you can certainly trace back this person who was watching back to there.
So what are the rest of us doing?
That's a good question. What are you doing?
Yeah, what are we doing, people?
What are you doing in a tavern, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we still at that inn with the ruffians, or had we?
You tell me.
I would assume when we went in to kind of stir things up to maybe catch somebody's attention that Rashawn had just kind of quietly followed them when they came out. Is that kind of the?
Yeah, I think that kind of folds in to that. I mean, it seems to have the same effect there.
Okay. So would we have noticed that Rashawn had left?
Oh yeah, I mean, you guys have worked together, so I assume he would have left a sign or a symbol. Does that seem reasonable, Rashawn, or did you leave them in the dark?
No. I told them that I was going to do this ahead of time.
Okay.
Like before we went into that, we were flashing back saying, "I'll wait outside and watch."
Okay. So we spend a little bit of time in there making people nervous, and then head out. And start observing your signs and just tracking you down.
Okay. Yep.
I tell you guys, someone observed my scrying when we were on the road. Perhaps if I try to look in on this man, I might see that Rashawn follows. I might be able to see who he talks to within the palace. But also, knowing ahead of time that somebody might be watching for magic, I may be able to try to find who is looking for me. But only if you want me to take the time to do it. I don't know that it would be quick.
I don't think we have time. They know we're here.
Well, how long does your magic take? Is it something quick? Is it?
The most ideal would be nighttime and then the coming of the dawn, but if I can go someplace dark and create my light with candles, I will be able to do it with slightly lesser effect.
Yeah, and we're at dawn now because
we've
kind of gone through the night. Okay. Yeah, I don't want to waste the day.
Well, you certainly have the expedition. You found a name there of both the head of the expedition, and you also found that the daughter of the scholar had been heading out. And then you also have that there's clearly some kind of probably fixer who works at the palace who was probably sent out to do this kind of hire. So you do have some leads, and you might have other tactics or avenues that you wish to explore. What do you think, Maria? Let's come to you.
We know who they are. but we don't know how we can relate ourselves to them, correct?
And who are they?
The scholar and then the daughter who apparently has been looking into necromantic alchemicals.
Yeah, you know that there is a scholar, a well-regarded scholar, who is a guest of the emir, who has his caravan is there, and you know that his daughter has been playing with suspicious stuff.
Yeah. So I guess we sneak in like we've done like in the past. I'll be right back. I need to take
Sure.
a break.
What about the rest of you? Other thoughts?
I look at you guys and say, do you want to sneak in or do you want to bluff our way in? Perhaps we'd be able to find a little bit more if we could talk to people without spying on them or having to confront them in a dark alcove.
Well, and I think Roshan, if Roshan has returned by now, he'd probably approach and say, "What? Are you saying you have a cover that works in this city?"
So, there's a cover that works in any city. It takes a moment to scrounge it up, but there's one to be had, of course.
So the thought there is trying to talk your way into the palace.
Basically, I'm thinking that the palace must constantly have this influx of, hoity-toities who need to pay some obeisance to the emir.
Okay.
And we can... I think it shouldn't be too hard just through rumor mill to find the name of somebody who's coming in and simply pass myself off as them.
Okay.
To gain entrance. That way, we don't need to skulk our way in. We can at least have an excuse. Might have to do a little bit of disguise just so it's not obviously like, hey, you're looking for us, and we're pretending to be others. But yeah, that way we can walk about a little bit more freely.
Okay. So is your plan to take everybody or a portion of the group?
Because it was Zev's family, I feel like he is the one most in need of some sort of disguise. But other than that, I think that I can find the name of somebody, either noble or relatively wealthy merchant, to simply name drop and with quick bits of sorcery and disguise, pass ourselves off as that.
All right.
It's the spend a hero point to employ a cover identity.
Sure. So tell me what this looks like.
So long as and I'm thinking it's somebody who'd want to have some sort of entourage.
Okay.
So since I feel like Roshana's the most flamboyantly discreet, perhaps he needs to be the actual noble, and I will basically be setting him up with that cover identity to, bluster his way in. And then we will be Zev, I think it just is built to look like bodyguard. So after altering his appearance a little bit,
okay,
we simply play announcement that we are so-and-so, arrived a day or two early with, magic kind of providing the, the document that.
Well, okay, so I'm gonna tell you. I'll have you figure out what the skill is you're going to use, but I want to walk through the costs here.
Okay.
So let's say it's one raise to identify a person that you can disguise yourself as, and that not be a problem. Does that seem fair?
Yeah.
And let's say it's another raise to give yourself the at least 24 hours before they arrive, the room to breathe on this, right?
Hmm.
And then another one to actually get inside.
Okay.
So those are the 3 for success. I'd say the risk here is one, making the guards nervous about this newly arrived entourage, but more importantly, the other one is not alerting your foe that you have arrived on the ground. Does that seem fair?
What was the first one beyond not like tipping our hand?
Not raising nervousness among the guards. Like you guys are a little different, even with your disguises, than a normal, say, arrival. Not to raise any kind of security nervousness. Does that seem fair?
Yeah, I think so.
Since Roshan is playing into this role, then I think Roshan would probably be giving you a hero point in order to be more successful.
Okay.
Of course, he's like, getting into the role. He's embodying the role, just bringing it in. I must be an aristocrat. I must live an aristocratic life.
So this definitely sounds like convince to me.
Yeah. Let's see.
Either that or perform.
I think so. I was thinking of it like, since he's the one actually doing the acting, it's more of like the scholarship to put together the correct identity, and he would be the one doing the talking. But I feel like I'm the one who needs to actually spend the hero points, since it's like, that's how the cover identity is employed.
Yeah. Go on.
Oh, so you're saying, so you're spending the hero point to do the cover identity, and then I'm doing the convincing or the performing.
Correct.
Aha. Okay.
The other way you could do this is your cover identity is allowed to have some skills based on their background. So
okay.
The way we can roll this is we can set your cover identity's convince at a 2.
Oh, okay.
Does that seem like a fair way to handle that you have a cover identity and that rolls into this?
Okay. Yeah.
And what would be the stat that you would then use?
I think that not my strong suit, but I feel like it has to be panache. I mean,
okay.
I'd like to think I'm outwitting people, but I think it's a little bit more style over substance to get into the...
So that's 4 dice to start, plus flair and first time, so that's 6 dice. And I heard that Christo is spending a hero point to give you 3 extra dice, right?
Yeah,
okay.
if I don't have to roll for the convince, then I should give him a hero point. Just because I'm waiting it. Yeah. That
seems like I'm hearing 9 dice, unless there's some other things you have that can add to that.
I don't think so. I don't think Brains of the Outfit really helps me. I think I have to be spending that to help someone else.
Okay. So that will be then 9 dice.
All right. So have some luck. Ooh, that looks good. Let's see what that is. So that is... Oh, man. I got a lot of 9s, so there's some, like, wasted overage. I've got 4 raises.
All right.
So and 1, 2, 3, 4, and an extra die. So I would love to have that hero point back.
Absolutely. Let me just write my darkness points here. So let me ask you this then: which of the consequences do you want to avoid? Having the guards nervous about you, and possibly keeping a closer eye on you, or alerting your foes that you have made your way in here?
Let me ask you guys, just from an out of...
Seems like a good question.
I want to surprise. More interesting.
I want to surprise even Majul. I don't care about the guards. They can be scared of me if they want.
They can be weirded out by us or whatever.
I guess Zev has a weird Freddie Mercury mustache that's, kind of rubbing them all the wrong way.
So yeah, it's definitely that when you come in early. The captain of the guard, of the Emir's guard, clearly doesn't like changes, doesn't like things that aren't to his schedule.
It's out of the customary time of greeting the.
Exactly. You've come in early in the day, he's, and you weren't expected for at least another day. And the captain of the guard is clearly wary, and he clearly assigns more of his people to follow and keep an eye on you. That he's a veteran. He's served the Emir and the Emir's father for years. And so when something is slightly out of sorts, he senses it. And you have the sense that you're going to be watched closely while you're in here. So, the Emir's palace, big walls, several buildings. There is a temple, a prayer area for Al Adin. There are some beautiful gardens out here. It looks like there is like a hedge maze that's there, the Garden of Forking Paths, and he also has a very striking building that is super tall, has plants, trees in it. It's spread out. It's at first you think it might be like a greenhouse, but then you realize that there's a kind of a mesh netting, and it looks like a giant birdhouse with all kinds of birds clearly gathered from all over in there. And as an honored guest, one of the Emir's high servants will come and will say, what name are you going by? I'm going to call you Malco eventually, but give me a name.
I think because Roshan is, if I can only find this quickly, Persic.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I don't have. Is there like a name? Like I'd pick something that's specifically Persic and something that rings the bell of affluence within,
All right, let's see.
That culture.
Good Persic name there. Then
Persic. So maybe.
So let's say Reza. Reza is a classic. Okay. And he will take you to your quarters, and he will say, the Emir did not expect you for another day. So the feast is this evening, but it is in honor of the caravan and the scholar who is here visiting and speaking with the Emir on that. He and his caravan are feted. They are departing tomorrow. So there will be a feast in their honor tonight with dancers and poets and recitationists who will do that. In the meantime, if you wish entertainments, the gardens and the aviary are welcome to you. Or I can have servants gather to take you on a ride upon the lake, if you wish. What is your desire?
Is he addressing Roshan?
Who is in charge? Who would he be addressing? Is he addressing you, Malco, or you, Roshan?
Roshan is the one who.
Roshan.
Yeah.
But Roshan would not deign to interact with him, probably. So it would all be going through through
I feel like
Malcolm.
Machina should be the voice.
There's a lot of talking from one to the other to the third, back to the one, back to the. It's that kind of thing.
Yeah, it goes along the lines of tell him I am very, tell him that this is very, very esteemed and very pleasurable that he makes these offers, but I am tired and I'm not interested in this at this time.
I understood. Please tell the honorable that I understand, and certainly I will have the servants bring food and water and such for you for your repast. If you have any need of anything, you may merely ring the bell, and someone will come to wait upon you. I will send a servant when it comes close to the evening time to gather you and bring you to the feasting hall. And you're left on your own after that. So let's check in. We haven't heard from Messina or Zev for a little bit here. So what's the next step for either one of you?
So they had gone in, just those two, or?
Oh, I'm assuming all of you have gone in. You're the entourage. Yeah.
I'm kind of interested in the really tall, fancy building.
Okay.
It looks like a good maybe vantage point to see like activity of what's going on around the place. Maybe.
Okay.
See if there's anything shady going on, or groups of people that just don't look like they're behaving the way guests would in a place, or the way servants would, or anything like that.
That seems perfect. So you want to climb up to there and kind of stay out of sight?
Yeah, I kind of want to make my way through kind of back halls and back stairs until I can get up to a serviceable balcony or something like that.
Is that second story work? Are you spending the hero point? Because if you spend the hero point, you don't even have to roll. It just happens.
I would think that's probably a good idea.
Okay.
We'll do that.
So,
and second story work, I can bring another character with me if another character wished to.
I want to go with you.
Okay. That works.
So those two head off after all of this kind of settled down. You guys have sort of very typical costumes, so you kind of blend in. You look a little bit different as a Yachidi than the others, but still it's diverse set of people here. There's certainly a large Yachidi community and probably the Yachidi servants on site as well. So you will make your way back through these marbled halls, through rooms. You're kind of amazed. This place has a magnificent set of waterworks. You guess that they must have pumps and hydraulics from the lake because there are these beautiful fountains and decorations, and just about in every room down here on this first floor there is something with a spray of water or mechanisms that are clearly water power, and beautiful displays going around. And there's actually quite a few people here in the palace. You have the sense that the Emir has a lot of guests on site, and so you're able to kind of blend in. And you can make your way up to one of these balconies. Not a problem. And what is it you want to know? What are you looking for?
I want to kind of observe the people as they move around the palace. See if there's any groups or individuals who look like they're skulking, as opposed to Rashan's type of sneaking around.
I will definitely say that without a roll, that as you kind of take a look around the grounds, that on a section of the the grounds further away from where you came in. There are definitely the carts and luggage and bearers and all of that for this caravan. And there's definitely some people who are there who kind of look like they're milling around, like they're anxious to get on the road. That maybe this stopover was not exactly what they'd hope for, or maybe they're a little more nervous. Does that seem like a fair answer?
Yeah. I'm going to kind of point it up to Zev. Hey, those individuals down there. What do you think is bothering them? Just kind of.
Do they seem like the scholar or any important people?
Well, they look like they're probably either put off by this place or.
No, I was talking out of character.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
It definitely doesn't look like the scholar. You guess that he and probably the senior people of the caravan are probably put up in their own rooms somewhere. But that they, how do I put this? You would have expected an academic caravan, a more official caravan, to be a little more refined. It looks like maybe the scholar has hired some people who might ask fewer questions, that kind of thing. People who feel a little out of place on the grounds of the palace, under the grounds of the official eyes of the guards and such.
So more like the guests that came to visit us last night.
Yes. Not that far down that road, but certainly
they're not.
It confirms what you suspected, that Scholar Akhmat maybe was doing this expedition maybe a little bit off the books.
Ah, okay. So they just don't want any suspicions on them. So they
would like to get out of here and get going.
Gotcha.
Zev, what about you?
I wanna, with this in mind, I wanna ask Messina to let's go find the scholar, and I wanna spy on the scholar if possible.
Okay. So let's see. You want to find the scholar and be able to observe him, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Without being seen.
Okay. So that does seem to me like stealth is the focus of that, right?
Yes.
Okay. So let's say then one success to find the scholar, to locate the scholar, one success to not be spotted by the scholar, and one success to not have the guards find you out of place.
So wits and what and hide, which
Hide
is
seems
0.
like the logical one there.
Now,
I have 0 in hide.
Am I able to? I don't have any hero points to give, but am I able to kind of aid with maybe wits and notice for watching out for the guard as we're making our way through the place?
I think I would rather do wits and notice in that case because I am higher in that.
Oh,
and then
yeah.
you can do hide.
Okay.
Like we can reverse roles if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's fine.
So you're keeping a lookout? Okay. Yeah, and so you can do to create an opportunity to give a bonus to Musina's role. With wits and notice seems perfect.
How many bonus die? 2 or 1?
I think just 1.
Okay. Trade skill that at least I can reroll dice on this one.
Yep.
Wits and notice for me. And I roll. That's. Don't want to reroll the die. Yeah, I will reroll the die. Then calculate races. How many races do I need?
Well, you're whatever race you get, you're giving to.
I have 3 races.
Okay. So Musina.
So what's the roll I'm making? I'm the one doing the hide roll.
Okay,
Yeah.
doing hide, and what trait are you using with the hide?
Probably finesse. Kind of knowing where to walk, knowing how to stand. Maybe that's more of a panache thing. Knowing how to stand so I don't look out of place when somebody does come through, and then knowing how to quickly get from one spot to the next.
That seems perfect to me.
Okay. Okay, so that's and dice roller. Where's the dice roller? Roll. And calculate. That's 3 raises.
Okay. Plus that. All right.
No extra dice.
So you
Together we've got what? Six raises.
So
okay.
Find the locations of the rooms. Stay out of sight.
Okay.
And we've got 3 extra raises there for additional things, which we're going to come to in just a second.
Sure.
So you can make your way into these chambers, and the scholar has clearly been given honored chambers, so they're large, giving you enough sort of curtains and hanging and shears and things for you to make your way about. I will say that I'll give you an opportunity if you want to spend one of those raises to catch him in conversation with his daughter.
I want to do that. Do you want to do that?
Yeah, definitely.
So you get 2 more raises left there, which we'll keep on the table. And it kind of smells odd in here. Zev, you will recognize the kind of brewing smell of some of those things, and she will clearly is preparing some alchemical preparation, which she hands to her father. She's a striking young woman. Her hair is tied back very severely. You can actually see that she has some burns and marks on her fingers. She's clearly not a trained alchemist. So she's kind of doing this maybe from instructions. And you will see the scholar Akhmat, and he looks emaciated and tired and sort of pale. And she will hand him this drink, and he will take it, and he will drink it down deeply, and she will go, "There, Father, this should give you the strength to go on." And the father will kind of do this, and you'll see the rosy glow return to his cheeks, and the emaciation seems to go away, and he looks healthier. And he says, yes, thank you, daughter. I feel that I have control of it again. There is no need to worry. We'll keep it down until we can get to the temple. I have control of it again. And she will say, good. Last night in your sleep, I heard you saying things, speaking strange. And he slaps her like hard on the cheek. And she draws back. And he says, I've told you not to listen in on my slumbers. Now, make another preparation. We must gather our things together to impress the Emir this evening. We will be out on our way after this, and everything will be fine. There is no need to worry. So what do you guys want to do? It looks like they're going to go to sort of normal, routine sort of preparations and work here now.
I guess, do you want to tell the others?
we have 2 raises left.
Mm-hmm. You could use
I
one
want-
to get out without a problem.
I wanna get my hands on that cup.
Okay.
That may have some residue that we can analyze later.
So 1 raise to get over to
I
the
have an
table,
idea of what it is, but
like lifting up the cup,
Mhm.
bring it down, get a sample, and 1 raise to get back to the group. Sound good?
Yeah.
Yep.
Rashawn, look at this beautiful palace with all of this stuff here, and the others have gone. What are you up to?
So I assume we're in. So Rashawn like peeks out the window and looks over at Malcolm and says, "Do you think we're in? Do you think we're in the better guest area or the worse? How are our chambers compared to the other parts of this palace?"
Malco seems to have sat down for his meditations.
So, and the idea he's thinking is that probably the chambers next to his are also probably guest chambers of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
Unless we're lucky and he's pretty close to the mirrors, and so he might be able to do a balcony to balcony hop and get into somebody else's rooms unnoticed.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that seems like no work at all.
Not for a hero point, it's not.
Absolutely, and people here, they they trust in the security of the guard. So what are the possibilities?
Yeah, no, I mean it's just this is assuming, of course, that he saw something as he was being brought up to these chambers that piqued his interest. Are you saying that there was something to pique his
Oh
interest?
God, this is a very well appointed palace, kind of wealthy city. Has done well. You're sure there are treasures around here that no one will miss.
Of course, they have so many.
Mm-hmm.
So what area did he find that was most interesting?
A couple of doors down, as you were coming by, it looked to you like there was a room which had some antiquities on display, suggesting to you that perhaps the reason the Emir has the scholar here is that he himself considers himself an amateur archaeologist of a kind, and he clearly had some beautiful pieces there.
Well,
Certainly, and one of those displays that is the display not of the academic or the scholar, but of the person who has too much shit and they want to have it all on display. So I don't know if you were ever in the Egyptian Museum. Okay, it's like that. No rhyme or reason. Everything is stacked everywhere. You're like, what's going on here? It's just tons and tons of stuff.
So you're saying it'll take a discerning eye to find the good stuff, to filter through and find the valuables.
Lowell disappeared while you were saying.
Wow, that was weird.
Yeah.
I'm still live though, despite getting a Google error. That was very strange. We will see if, in fact, the video actually records after this. In any case, Malco, I'm going to come back to you. Let's take our 5 minutes break here. This is a good point for that, and we'll come back with you becoming aware that Rashawn's fingers are getting a little itchy.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Hey, sorry, when I stepped away. What happened while I was gone? How did the skulking and spying on the scholar go?
I think the scholar is even Majul, and he's forcing his daughter to revitalize him.
Oh,
Yeah. I'm thinking Ibn Majul is like some spirit thing that's like in him.
creepy.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I'm thinking
And they're giving him something to suppress the influence at certain times or something.
Either that or it's
keep
an
him in
immortal,
control.
or either that or he's an immortal that keeps reincarnating or something, or not reincarnating but changing bodies.
Yeah, that could be too.
Whoa, what did you guys see that made you think that? Was it just that stuff that he had?
No, the daughter was giving him a potion.
Okay.
And she's untrained, and he was pretty beat the fuck up, like he was dying, and then he got revitalized.
Yeah.
And then she talked about how he was muttering in his sleep, and then he slapped her.
Oh.
And as they departed, we grabbed the cup that the potion was in to bring it back to you in case maybe you could look at it and possibly determine what the stuff was.
Sounds all very Stargate.
Yeah. There you go.
All right.
Wait, when did I go up the danger points?
I thought it was at 3. Was I not at 3?
It says 2 right here.
Oh.
Or before, unless someone gave you danger points.
See, it blew away my chat, so.
Yeah.
I thought something.
Oh, that's why you put it in. Okay, it was 2.
Yeah. I haven't been lucky enough to have extra dice to actually get hero points back.
So we've got Rashawn, we've got Malco. You have some pieces there. Do you want to poke around before the others return, or do you want to wait until they come back?
Oh, I think he's totally got into the Rashawn is dressed up for the part, so he's probably dressed in something that has like a sash and maybe, I don't know, maybe a turban if that's appropriate for this area. And his idea behind that is if it's a turban and a sash, he's got plenty of places to hide things that he steals.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
And do you want to go and loot the artifacts room while your friends are out investigating?
It's like the Harlem Globetrotters in here.
Liberate. It's not looting. It's liberating.
Liberating. Sure. So, do you want to roll a theft roll?
Sure.
Okay. What trait do you want to go with that theft roll?
Oh, that's a good question. Oops, now I've lost. Where is my character? There it is. Oh, I think this is finesse.
Okay. So finesse and theft.
Yeah, if I'm not bluffing somebody, then it's finesse.
I think it's the risk is one raise to not trip any kind of alarm or thing there, and 1 raise not to have the guards spot you. 2 raises to protect, and then the number of raises that you get will show what kind of amazing loot you're able to lift.
Right.
Liberate. I apologize.
Yeah. Yes, please. This is very important. It's all in the style.
Semantics.
Yes. It's the poetry of language. And yeah. So I guess it depends. Is he going to have to pop open the lock to get into the room, or is it all open and on display?
Oh, it's at the nicest stuff or in the cases.
Yeah. Okay.
Actually, I think if you're open to it, I just kind of like the idea of, that whole Last Crusade, the most valuable thing is the dingy cup that's off to the side that nobody understands. I think I actually like... I don't know why I'm wasting hero points on this, but I feel like I want to give you 2 because, I've come across in my scholarship stuff that, people are looking for, and I've just, heard that in his hoard collection, there might be this relic that has been missing forever. So when, we're maybe doing a walkabout and I actually want to go looking for the agent that is part of my backstory, and I feel like maybe if I can give him some information on this, it'll keep Rashawn safely occupied. Give me some time to skulk around. So after walking through it with you, I'll give you like all this. Okay, well, I think I saw this and I think I saw this, but the one that you really want is this, because in this old tome that I read, blah blah blah, and I kind of walk through a couple of things. I think this is the one that they're gonna miss the least and not realize that they should miss it the most.
So he tells you your job. And how many hero points are you giving him? Hero point, spending it?
I feel like I'm spending 2 actually.
Okay, how many extra dice is that then?
That is 6.
6 extra dice.
Yeah, and another reason, of course, that Rashawn is interested is he's looking for the item for his story that he's supposed to find. He's supposed to find the brooch of the second glance somewhere, so he's going to have to look everywhere for it.
Absolutely.
So, okay.
And it's supposed to be in the villain's secret lair, which this sounds like the villain's secret lair. So,
well, this is the Amir's
meta. This is
palace. Yeah, but yes. So,
yeah, but if I don't find it in the Amir's palace, then it's got to be in the caravan. So it's by process of elimination, of course.
Right. So why don't you roll with those 6 extra dice?
Wow.
You might have some left over to sell me, right?
I might indeed. Yes, I got 8 raises. Yeah, this was a pretty good roll actually. I got 2 10s. So
okay then.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm just counting to see how many. Oh, you know what? I can't actually sell you any. They all got used.
That's a disappointment.
Yeah, it is. Okay.
So let me tell you what you find.
Okay.
One thing is that somebody has clearly been in here recently, carefully searching the place, like looking for something. And you look around because you're skilled at this. You can tell that the telltale marks, the slight marks by the locks and stuff, the things that only an expert thief like yourself would be able to tell.
It was a novice. He scratched the locks when he was working it, but the scratches are fresh. So I know it was recent.
Right. And you're looking around and you will find on one of the cases, sort of buried underneath, hard to get to, is something, and you recognize the sort of pattern of the box to it, that you've seen one of these kind of puzzle boxes before. And you know where the poison needle is, and you are able to get past it, and you're able to open it up, and inside you would find a dagger and a scroll. And they're kind of wrapped together, and they're old. And the dagger is striking and beautiful, and the pommel is jewel encrusted, but the blade itself is, you're not sure what it's made of because it's pure white. You're not sure if it's ceramic or metal or what. And the scroll has an interesting story to it. It tells the story of this dagger, the dagger of the severing, and it speaks of a djinn who was condemned to the earth and determined to cause mischief and destruction, and it could take many faces, many appearances, and it did so not by changing its own face, but by taking over other people for a time. It had no existence of itself, and it merely lived in the echoes of these people. And it is referred to as Ibn Mashhul. This dagger is made to sever it from its host and make it vulnerable to material attacks. Does that seem fair for the extra 6 successes?
That seems great. So he'll find all this and say, "Oh, this is so beautiful. But where could that brooch be?" So it tucks it in his stuff and goes off looking for more, of course.
Okay.
And I picture, as he's doing all this, of course, I'm picturing this all being sort of leverage, you know, like hopping around and dodging all the traps that might be in these different places, skipping the spy steps or the thief steps and stuff like that. So he is definitely occupied, which I guess is what Malco wanted.
Malco, I will say, to give you an answer to your question, and I'm going to kind of shorthand this and then bring the others back in. Is that cool? That you will see moving in clearly a group that's the entourage of the caravan. Not the people outside, but like the people who are clearly the scholars, servants. Like you can see there's the caravan master. And you can see behind him, sort of carrying the books, is the agent that you're looking for. So he is present and on the grounds.
Okay.
But I'd like to cut back to everybody returning to the rooms and sharing info, if that seems fair.
All right.
Okay.
So the plan is to take this dagger into the scholar and hope that even Majul shows up. How does this work?
Well, is this the kind of thing that now, between like her observations and his little scroll, maybe there might be some history or some the way magic works that I might be able to say, okay, if he is in there, then we need to, you need to stab him with this, or it's not like an actual stabbing, it's more of like a ritual,
That's certainly what the scroll seems to indicate, is that whoever he is taking the form of, you need to stab to get them to release.
Okay. So, like, the host is no longer viable and the thing, like, flees the body.
Mm-hmm.
So do we have to kill the host?
I think it's just stabbing, not killing.
Does it say anything about whether the host has to be willing or complicit? Perhaps this scholar is as much a victim as were Zev's associates or family members, I should say.
Oh, you mean is it a willing thing that occurs?
Yeah, like, is he a slave? Is he basically dead and just a shell? Or was it like a guy who, looking for power, invited a thing in? Like, basically, do I need to feel guilty about this guy?
It is not a voluntary thing.
Did you get a feeling that the daughter is an actual daughter? Or merely just masquerading as a daughter?
I think it's the actual daughter. She seemed to care about him.
So the daughter of the host body. You know what, Roshan, this might appeal to you. Perhaps we could persuade her to help us. If we can reveal that we can rescue her father, we might be able to stage this in a way that the people of the caravan may help bring him to an isolated spot and rescue him.
The captain says, wait. So is this that seduction thing again, or no?
I guess that
Wait, the captain is with us?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God.
He's just been lounging and eating figs this whole time.
I assume so, Messina, right? He would have come with you. You're not going to leave him by himself in the city.
I would. Well,
and he would have loved the idea of coming into a palace.
Well, I'm sure he would. Yeah, he seemed to think his ship was a palace, at least.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure seeing someone else's palace is
Musina
always a benefit.
Musina is the only person with empathy, with convinced, by the way. Just so you all know, that's not Rashawn's thing.
So who am I? Who am I?
Incurable romantic, but
Wait a minute.
not able to carry it out.
Empathy is a good substitute.
I have empathy.
Yeah, Zev has more empathy.
Yes, I have more empathy than Roshan. That is true.
Yeah, no, Russia. I mean, I would love to see others fall in love. That doesn't mean I am, of course, unlucky in love, but I can help others. And
Okay,
he looks at Zev.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, we all know of Roshan's trail of broken hearts and in his wake.
So your thought, oh yeah, when you say the captain, yeah, it's kind of like Laughlin. So your idea is one of you to corner the daughter and speak with her and try to convince her that you are here to help?
Sure. That is empathy, which have I used it yet? Well, I used it last scene when I was up, or I didn't roll it, I don't think.
We're in a whole nother
location, either way,
a whole nother thing.
It's, I guess, panache and empathy.
So you want to track her down?
Yes, track her down, find her, get her alone and talk to her about this.
Okay.
And like, hey, your father's being possessed by a jinn. We know how to help.
All right. So you've already tracked her down. You had those, again, that remarkable success, the 6 successes before to find and do this. I will say, Zev, it'll be no problem for you then, another hour pass to track her down and speak with her. Is anyone else with you?
Roshan.
Okay, so you and Roshan.
To be my wingman.
Okay. So we'll do that, and then we'll come back to Messina, the captain, and Malco. Who has the dagger then, by the way?
Roshan has the dagger, as far as I know.
I think Roshan would probably give it to Messina because Roshan doesn't have weaponry skill.
Captain says she's good with the dagger.
Yeah. Unless this is a throwing dagger, but I assumed it was a regular dagger.
It is a regular stabby dagger.
Yeah, it's the stabby. So then, yeah, give it to Messina because she's much better with these. If this needs to land true but not kill the person, it's only a job for Messina.
The captain eyes the jeweled hilt of the dagger and says, if you want, I can hold that, Messina.
Yeah, the captain says it.
Let's not.
He waits till Zev and Roshan are gone before he brings this up.
I think Messina kind of keeps the dagger kind of one of those left hand, right hand, kind of make sure it stays in her possession through the whole the conversation.
The captain definitely keeps an eye on where the dagger is at from the glint of the jewels there. Let's come to then Roshan, you and Zev. Maybe an hour later, we will find the scholar's daughter. She is reading out in another area where the light comes in, and there's a fountain there. It has that sort of musical tones that changes as you go through. She looks up as the two of you come in, and she clearly doesn't know you, doesn't recognize you, and she'll nod.
And I think Roshan will quickly give Zev the because Zev is scholarly, so prime him with some poetry from like a famous Persic poet like Omar Khayyam, something about the beauty of the evening or and whatnot, and prime him so that he can sort of make the romantic approach.
Sure. Okay, I'll take your help.
She will greet you. Blessings and warmth to both of you.
All right. So we need to speak about matters.
May I ask who you are?
I am. I am someone who knows how to save your father.
She will. Her brows will narrow, and she will say, "Where I come from, people have good manners and say their names before they say such things."
My apologies. My name is Zev.
You are Yakidi?
Yes. What is your name?
My name is Marze.
Yes.
But you already knew that if you've come here. And she looks at the other end. Who is this one?
He's a friend, Roshan.
And he'll give a flourished bow.
What do you know of my father?
Your father is being possessed by a jinn.
No, he is not.
I suppose
What led you to that conclusion?
A long story.
You cannot simply say this thing and then say it is a long story. A story is told. It is not hinted at.
And yeah, I will tell her the story of our travels and what happened, pretty much. And I will show her the scroll, yes.
She'll look at this and she'll go, "You have that wrong."
What is the truth then?
He's not a jinn that possesses my father. It is an Ifriti.
Okay, out of character, what's the difference?
They are different kinds of magical creatures.
Okay.
They're of the same sort of category of beings, but they are opposed. They hate each other. But it's kind of a class thing in some ways. But he uncovered a thing in the desert a year and a half ago, and it has been slowly burning him away. And it takes possession of him from time to time. It wants to go back to the desert because something is hunting it. But it's consuming my father. I've done all I can to keep him alive.
We are the ones hunting it, I think. If what you say is true.
Zev, I think Roshan chimes in. I think we've had it backwards. Ibn Marul must be hunting the Ifrit. And that's why they are so closely tied together, because he's following the Ifrit, perhaps. Right? Your father feels that he's being hunted.
The thing inside him says that there is another hunting him, pursuing him.
A single entity.
Who is this entity and where is it?
This thing does not speak to me as it does other people. I am an ant, a speck before it. So I do not know. All I know is that it wishes to return back to the desert.
So I want to figure out how much is she telling the truth.
Sure. Why don't you make an empathy roll?
Yes.
Does that seem fair? What do you want to call that first trait?
Wits. because I am figuring her out, like reading her her like her eyes, her
Sure, absolutely.
emotions.
Let's have you roll.
Is that flair or no flair?
Yeah, I like that.
Okay, by the way, I have been forgetting my bonus die for having one dramatic wound.
There you go.
So I'm rolling. I will reroll one die, and that was bad. Calculate races. That is, oh wow, it is 4 races.
Okay. Anything extra to sell to me?
1.
Okay. I'll take it.
I'll sell it.
Give you a hero point.
Yeah.
All right. So you got 4 races. You have the sense that she is telling the truth and that she's very nervous, that her father has been wandering here, has clearly been, she has the sense that the Ifrit has other agendas and has not been telling her, not been keeping her in on this. But she feels like she's buffeted by forces. She doesn't understand. She doesn't have control over. She'll say that her father is deeply suspicious of the people sent along on the caravan. That become paranoid about them. It's part of the reason they have taken a circuitous route. Is that her father's, the Ifrit in him, suspects that there's something wrong with the caravan people.
And I did let her know, and I'll let her know the part that even Majul was like tampered at least with the caravan.
Then this person that you speak of may be the one who is hunting my father.
Even Majul?
Yeah.
And you do not know the Ifrit's name?
No, he will not give me his name. He says it names it power.
Very well. That makes sense.
I mean, what should we do? Can you you said you can defeat the spirit. Can you defeat this Ifrit?
If the Ifrit is afraid of Ibn Majul, we are after Ibn Majul. And if the spirit wants to be free, it would be best to continue on your journey.
All right, it will be difficult. I mean, we have, for me to keep this charade up, we have dinner with the Emir soon.
I hope it will be resolved then.
Well, I should go in and make my preparations.
Do that. And let's go back.
Okay. So you will return back to that. In the meantime, while that is going on, while they're going and talking to the scholar's daughter, what are you two up to? Malco?
I know that Musina has been uncomfortable around me since the beginning, and I feel like I need to give her a little something just to kind of put her mind at ease, especially because I'm about to ask her to help me kill somebody.
Sure.
And before you guys left, would I have been able to get that box with the poison needle in it from you before you went off with the dagger and the scroll?
Oh, I don't think I took the box. I think I put the box.
Yeah, I would have
back.
left the box there.
Oh.
I would set it back so that it wouldn't be obvious. They won't notice this.
Okay. Yeah, darn it. Okay. I'm going to say, Messina, I must tell you something. While Ibn Majul is definitely a threat that must be dealt with. My mission is somewhat different, and I feel perhaps if I explain it, you may sympathize with the deed that needs to be done. And I kind of go on to tell you about how I originally met Zev in pursuit of this slaver who was bringing essentially kidnapped victims into the arena to, you know, basically die solely for, you know, the gambling that would be done to them. And unfortunately, Zev didn't know what I was doing at the time, and by the time I was able to convince him to not interfere, the man got away. But the man is here. He is one of the aides to the scholar, and if he isn't in league with this thing, his evil can be set aside. It will make our further task easier to deal with him beforehand, as opposed to having to deal with him when we deal with the, and I probably say Jinn because I don't know any of that conversation yet.
Mm-hmm.
I need to deal with him as a matter of course, but I think it jives with our motives as well. Hopefully you can see that this man is someone that the world would do better without.
So
you want us to murder somebody? I'm sorry, I stepped on your toes there, Messina. Sorry.
yeah, and I kind of like, yeah. Just have a seat. What are you talking about here?
I would never ask somebody to dip their hands so far into the darkness. I simply wish for your help so that I may kill him.
And you're sure this isn't going to derail everything we've been working on here?
I suppose
this is going to go off the rails.
In the time frame we are looking at, it should not. If we were planning on an event that was a week away, perhaps his disappearance would be noted, but he will simply not be at dinner. That is all that anyone will know in the time frame of our activities.
And you're assuming we can get this done, or you can get this done, and not get caught?
That is what I have assumed every time I have done it.
Messina, what's your reaction to this?
And I'm going to kind of say one of those things, kind of to him, but kind of referencing history with the captain. I remember on board ship, everything was done honorably. This doesn't sound honorable.
A child being ripped from their family so that they may be eaten by lions for the entertainment of others is not honorable.
No.
The man who would do it does not deserve anything but the honor of facing the afterlife.
But a confrontation's a confrontation.
I will confront him.
I don't know. That sounds... As long as this doesn't cause any issues with our tracking down Ibn Majul.
Knock at the door.
And I'm sure the captain's up and he goes straight to the door.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I will pick up a couple of figs and simply stand there with them in my hand, eating them as whoever there is answers, I'm sure.
And like we'll go on with our discussion of what we're having for dinner tonight. And
and the captain will open the door, and he will look at them, and he will say, "You guys took your time." And the other door will come flung open, and you will see that agent and another swordsman and a group of thugs. And the captain goes, "Kill them, get the dagger from her." So now we're going to go to action phase. You guys ate up enough time that your companions are going to be back here on another round. Yes, it was the captain. So
yeah, I kind of figured it would be.
Yep. If I could have you tell me what you're doing, we're going to do a round with just Musina and then Malco and the bad guys. And then on the next round, we're going to bring in Roshan and Zev. Does that seem fair? Okay. So tell me what you are going to do, what your sort of trait skill attempt is going to be, Malco.
I think you said there was the agent and then some.
There's another swordsman who's there, and then a brute squad of like the caravan people from before that have come in here.
And there's not a moment to just like sort of talk. I mean, he said go in and kill them, right? So
there is those were the words he used.
I think that I am going to sort of lock eyes with the agent and just sort of like unlimber, like step sideways over to where our things are so I can, grab my bow. Not because I actually need, but it's just like the trapping that he's become used to. He sort of needs it mentally. And then all of a sudden he's gonna spin around and unleash at the brute squad, and so that he can, and when they're down, he's just going to sort of smile at the agent and say,
"So that seems like aim.
We need a moment to talk.
Let's do this." So aim. What's the trait you're using with that?
I think that's finesse.
That seems perfect to me. You described it, so you get a bonus die for that, and you ought to get a bonus die for first time. So go ahead and make that skill roll. And yeah, if you do the relentless thing on your turn, that doesn't cost an action. That's just a hero point spend. So you still get to do your stuff. And Musina, what are you going to do?
I think I'm probably going to kind of do an odd look to the captain. Like, you're what? What? When did this happen? She's like stunned. But I think her wits kind of at the last moment are going to kind of come to her. And it's like, oh, so you're going to... she realizes he's kind of going to try and take the dagger. So what, we had a brute squad, we had him, we had the agent.
Have two named subordinates. We'll call them the agent and the swordsman.
Okay.
We have a brute squad, and we have the captain.
And the captain told the swordsman to take the dagger from me or whatever.
Yes.
So I'm going to give the dagger to him. Pointy side first.
Okay. So it sounds like that sounds like weaponry.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Plus?
Probably finesse, I would think. I've got to get around that sword. If he's a swordsman, I've got the moves to kind of dodge in and out and watch for his swings.
Okay, that sounds perfect to me. So let's figure this out then. You have the description. You get a bonus die for first time this round. So both of you roll, generate your raises, and let's see where we're at.
Ooh, nice.
Feel free to sell me dice, by the way.
I don't have any to sell. I've got 4 raises.
Okay, so you go on 4. And what about you, Malco?
Muted.
Sorry, 3.
3. So on 6, the swordsman.
And I do have 1 extra die, it looks like.
You want to sell me that?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Give yourself a hero point. On 6, that swordsman comes and stabs you there, Musina, with just a simple standard slash, and is going to do 3 wounds to you on 6.
Okay. So just 3 regular wounds.
Yep.
Okay.
And then on 5, he deals another wound to you with bash. Essentially slashes at you and then brings the sword hilt up and cracks you across the face with it on 4.
Okay.
Okay.
And bash gives you a minus something?
So what bash does is it deals 1 wound, and then it reduces the number of wounds that Musina can deal if she attacks him on this following action.
Which is going to happen. So.
Yep. So let's go to 4 then.
So I've got 4. So how does that work again?
So do you have a? Let's see. Do you have some duelist things? I can't remember.
Yes, she has.
Yes.
She has lunge parry. No, sorry, not lunge parry. Sorry. The basic ones, and then 1 more.
Yep. The slash and parry maneuvers, as well as 1 non-style maneuver.
Yeah. Did you decide which one that was? Is it the lunge is the classic spend all your raises, do a shit ton of damage one?
Yeah, I don't think it would be that.
Okay. We've got feint, lunge, bash, and riposte are the other choices.
I would think it would probably be a feint.
Okay. So what that does is when you perform it, you deal a wound, and if you injure them again on the same round, you do additional wound.
Okay.
Okay. So let's go with you on 4. Your standard maneuver for an attack is a slash.
Okay.
Do you want to deal that?
Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. It's kind of a straight-on thing at this point. If it gets more complex, then I'll have to do something different. But
okay.
Where do you stab?
I assume you're stabbing the guy who's engaged, the swordsman who's engaged with you?
The swordsman. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Not the captain?
No, not the captain.
Captain's across the room.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, you go to stab. This guy has done that bash, and so he kind of gets that blade up in front of you on a 4. And then on 4, he's going to deal another 3 wounds to you.
Okay, nice. That's really good.
Yep. The agent on 4 is going to fire at you, Malco, and is going to fire a crossbow at you.
Oh, crossbow. Okay.
A gun would be far too loud, and he is essentially going to deal 4 wounds to you. Essentially raises that up and puts that crossbow bolt into you. And then we go to 3. Let's go with you, Malco, and then Musina, and then almost all the bad guys.
Oh.
Malco.
Okay. So I think the first thing I do is when he does that, I realize these guys all need to come into the room, so this doesn't spill out to the hallway. We need to keep it quiet. So I step up to sort of lure those guys in.
Okay.
And as soon as they do, I go dervish on them and, take some bashes and wounds, take my dramatic wound,
Okay.
but take them out.
All
and
right.
That's just a spend. That's not my action, correct?
That's just a spend, so you can do a standard action then.
But let's see. And with that, I think that how does reloading and stuff like that work? Is he just going to be able to?
He's just going to be able to crank it up again. Yep.
Okay. So I think that I am going to, as I step up from them, or step away, kind of like dripping with blood, I'm just going to sort of like give him a smile and say, peace, friend. And then I'm going to shoot the crossbow to destroy it.
Okay.
And
so let's say one raise of your 3 will break the crossbow.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to check in with you again on 2 is what I'm going to do. Okay.
And I am spending, so I spent a hero point to kill them.
Yep.
Took a dramatic wound. Taking a dramatic wound gives me back a hero point.
Uh-huh.
So I spend a hero point to activate my disarming smile, which will keep them from resorting to violence. So he is not going to attack until I do something.
I think that time for that has passed.
Oh, it can? Okay.
Yeah. If we were in a position before things possibly slow down, I think that would be the case. But I think you got kind of flat-footed here on that.
Okay.
Does that seem fair?
I was thinking of it more as like an intimidate, like I take out a bunch of guys, blow up his weapon, and just say, settle down a second. We need to talk.
Yeah, I think you're already in a violent conflict here, though.
Fair enough.
Yeah. On 3, what do you want to do, Musina?
Well, I've got to deal with this swordsman still. So that feint allows me to do an extra.
If you when you do your attack, you'll do an extra wound to him.
Okay. Then that's definitely what I want to do.
So you will pull back after that and do that feint now. So he will take another wound, and the next time you hit him, you're going to do more.
Okay.
Okay. So that goes down to that, which goes down to that. And that was on 3. On 3, I think he wants to take you down. So he's going to spend the rest of his raises and do a lunge on you.
Okay.
Which means he deals the remaining raises that he has, 3, plus the 3 wounds he normally does. So he's going to do 6 points to you.
Okay.
Can she parry on her next turn to avoid that? Because that would be something I would suggest.
Yeah, you could burn your next action for a parry to reduce that if you wanted.
That's probably a good idea.
What's your ranks in weaponry? 3?
Yes.
So you'll only take 3 wounds. So this guy pulls back. You've kind of done that feint, and he just kind of goes in, but you'll bring that parry up and kind of knock the blade aside.
Okay.
So you'll go again on 1. All right.
That does still leave me with 2 dramatic wounds, though.
Yes.
So you know.
I will get that other thing. Agent's already done his. Ibn Majhul. He's been saving his stuff here. So I think he recognizes that you are a threat there, Malco. And he is going to... it's like a blur as he kind of steps up to you, and he's next to you. And he puts this dagger into your shoulder. And he is going to deal 8 wounds to you.
8.
Now, you have a choice. You have 2 raises left. You could spend those raises to reduce that damage if you wanted to, Malco. Are you still there? Tejas?
You know what? You were saying Malco, and I was in my head thinking Messina.
That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
So it's going to be 8 wounds, but if you want to spend the rest of your raises, you can reduce that by 2, or you can take the 8.
Okay. So
Damn, son, though.
put me up to here.
Either way, you
I
would
feel-
still take your second dramatic wound.
Right. I don't feel like the 2 wounds by themselves are going to be worth it. I'm going to be hurting anyway. So
That's perfect. So you have an action. So we go to 2. What do you want to do on 2?
Right. I think because it seems like we need the dagger to be, pointed at this guy, not at, the swordsman. Can I basically spend a raise to, do sort of like an acrobatic maneuver where I can get us back to back and then flipped around so we're facing the opposite foes?
Sure. I'm going to say it's going to take 2 raises because you put your stuff into aim for this round.
Right.
So to improvise, to do that, I think it's going to take an extra raise.
Okay. I'm fine with that.
All right. And then we come to you on 1. Essentially, Malco's flipped over and kind of switched around opponents. What do you want to do on 1 then?
So the opponent I'm facing
He's now the captain.
Even Majol.
Oh,
The
is
captain.
the captain?
Yeah.
Slash the captain?
I think I'm probably gonna. I think Messina would probably shove the captain.
Okay.
I don't think Messina's gonna use the dagger on the captain.
So
if
you
somebody wants the dagger used on the captain, they're gonna have to take it and do it.
So you do reach, and the captain does look at you like
kind of one of those angry kind of push smack kind of things. It's like, how dare you do this to me?
And can I add one thing just to maybe get her in the right mind frame? I'll say he did not do it. It is the thing inside him, and you can free him with that knife.
Yeah. So you're gonna try and convince me?
All right, let's cut to the next round. Tell me, Rashawn and Zev, what is the thing that makes you break out into run? That makes you know that something is up?
Noises of crossbows shattering and doors being flung.
We probably knock a big cabinet over or something.
Yeah.
Okay. Like some of the priceless crystal and stuff that Rashawn had been eyeing to maybe put in his pocket. You'll hear crash to the floor.
So
Are they out of the room already, or are they?
No, they actually drew the people inside the room. The doors are open, but you're hearing the sort of crashing sounds out in the immediate hallway.
I think my approach to this is the same as always: brawn and brawl.
Okay.
But my description, so I can get flare dice.
Sure.
Remember the veil, and how my character drop kicked that literal angel. Too bad even Majol isn't out there, but I want to drop kick someone.
That's
as I come in. So
that seems fair to me. And what about you, Rashawn? What is going to be your approach?
Let's see. So they're in the room. Oh, so we'll be approaching them from behind, theoretically, won't we?
Theoretically.
Okay.
There are 4 of you. There are 3 of them. You'll have to get over the bodies of the dead brute squad. Sorry, unconscious and crying out in pain brute squad.
Sure, of course. Yeah, I can't think of a dramatic entrance at this point, but because I'm not picturing the room, I guess. Yeah, I mean, I think he's just going to go to the door, and he's probably going to be sizing up the situation and probably having his pistol ready.
Okay. So that sounds like aim.
Sure.
And what's your trait?
I think this is finesse.
By the way, villains get a total of 6 bonus die with all the dramatic ones.
I know. I believe it.
Just making sure.
I do know. Yes.
Oh,
Ellen, you sold me a point, didn't you?
a while back.
Oh yeah. Well, let me go ahead.
No, you have 1 danger point.
Yeah. Let me go ahead and change that to 0 and spend that on Ibn Mashul.
Bruh.
Okay. So that's
actually, I guess I could come up with things. So I think what I'd probably end up doing is somersaulting over the bodies to keep myself low and shooting from a low position.
Ooh, I like that.
At the captain, I imagine.
Okay. Let's go. And so he's got 6 extra dice, but he's much lesser.
Because of course we would have sized up everything instantaneously as soon as we saw it.
Absolutely.
All right. So
I had the suspicion that there was something not right about the captain.
Let me check now. Tell me, Malco, what is your approach this round?
I'm kind of hurt, but I see my friends starting to come in. I think I need to just reposition myself because right now we are, not, we're hurt and not doing well. I think that I'm going to create a moment of darkness just to sort of surprise them and give us a chance to move away, reposition. And maybe for them to not see the others coming. Because we're looking to the hallway, we see them, and basically I want to create an element of surprise for the others, plus give me a chance to move away.
Okay, so that'll be the scholarship as your action, right?
I think so, unless that would be hide, but either way, it's 3.
I'm good either way.
Okay. I mean, because it's from the spell, I think it's scholarship.
Okay, plus your 2 extra bonus dice, plus your trait. Musina, what are you doing? What's your approach?
I think at this point, yeah, I'm probably gonna have to. I know. Well, I don't know. Maybe is there a way that she can say stuff has been knocked over and stuff like that? So maybe pushing back against the captain some more until he trips and fumbles over something. Kind of knock him down.
Is to switch from weaponry to brawl?
Well, yeah, I think that's probably
athletics. What do you want to call that?
I would say it's most likely a brawl type situation.
Okay.
And probably a since it's a frustration kind of thing, probably a resolve with brawl.
That sounds good.
Makes sense. Okay, so we're
with the extra 2 dice. Go ahead and roll and tell me your raises. Zev, what do you have?
5.
Rashawn, what do you have?
5.
Malco, what do you have?
5.
And Musina, what do you have?
1. And 3 dice I can sell you.
Please don't.
I need hero points.
No. You do not want to sell him fucking danger points.
We can help you out with hero points.
Take care of them all this round, then they won't have a chance to spend them.
If you guys can assist me, that would be great, and then I'll let these go. But yeah,
well,
I think
I can give you another 6 because I think the whole idea of me creating this darkness to conceal our movements.
Okay,
that makes sense. The scholarship.
We'll spend those points. I will let him roll 6 more dice.
Oh, okay. So how do we roll 6 more dice in addition to what we've got at the moment?
Figure out what you've got extra dice laying around.
Okay.
Roll 6 and then do the calculation of what might add into there.
Oh, man.
Yeah, math.
Yeah, that's mathing stuff. Okay.
So you have one raise, so it's just add the raises you have and add one to it, and roll 6 dice.
But he's going to have the extra dice left over, so he might be able to make some things
I
out
was
of
gonna
that.
say, let me see what I got left. I got
Oh, true.
6 and 2 ones left.
Okay, that's good.
Let me. And you said this was 6 more dice.
Yes.
So 6 and 2 ones. On top of that, that's what 1, 2, 3. That's 4 more raises. So
4
I've
more
got
or 4 total now?
4 more.
So now
Yay,
we're at a
we're all at
5.
5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, nice.
On 8.
Okay.
If I had actual dice in front of me, that
I know
would
this would be so
easier
much
to group
easier.
those.
There's simplicity to having the roller, but it also you need the tactile thing. On 8, Majhul is like a blur, and he's up by you, Captain. And on
Captain?
7,
By who? By me?
sorry, Ibn Majhul, the captain, is up by you, Musina.
Mm-hmm.
On 8, on 7, he grabs your arm.
Okay.
And then grabs the other one. We realizes the dagger's not in that one. And on 6, he takes control of the dagger.
Okay.
So he has the dagger now. Also on 6, the swordsman is going to strike at you, Malco, since Majul is up in it. And he is going to deal 3 wounds to you on 6.
Okie dokie. That is my 3rd dramatic wound.
Yay, your tens explode.
All right. So here's what the situation is before we get to all of the 5s. You guys are all going to go here in just a second. Majhul has the dagger, and he's up in Musina's face. The agent is there and isn't going to go until after all you go. He's cranking his crossbow piece, throwing to the ground, and then drawing another dagger. And then the swordsman has gone up and has slashed at Malco. So, Zev.
Zev is going to do what I just said and dropkick Majul.
Okay. So you're doing that as a maneuver?
I think I am going to do the Vicious Leap. So, cannot be resisted. My ranks is athletics is 3. I deal 3 wounds to Majul.
Okay.
Is it possible to spend a race to have that disarm him?
That's a separate action. That'll go off on your next thing.
All right, cool.
If you want to try and do that. And it's you have to spend an action to set it up and then an action to trigger it.
All right, cool.
Okay. So yeah, you'll hit him and he is solid when you kick into him, and he takes a step back, but he is still up.
That's the captain.
And then Rashawn on 5.
So can you describe what's in the room?
Well, I assume there's tapestries. We probably got floor pillows. There's probably the broken glass. There's a bunch of bodies of people clutching themselves who've been stabbed by your dervish. I assume there are windows. Is that?
That helps. So
okay.
Tapestries hanging on the walls. Any behind the captain?
Of course.
So since I used aim and finesse, how do I make this happen?
Do you want to
out of his hand?
So do you want to like you can shoot something to drop it down?
Yeah,
I'm
going to try and shoot this. I don't know how that's possible for it to fall that way though without somebody else pushing it. So I think it's probably a double move of like shooting the tapestry to release it and then jumping doing like a parkour move to jump up and grab it and throw it onto the captain to try and contain the captain.
Okay. So on this round, on this action, on this raise on 5, you do the setup. So essentially, we see you flip in, roll, do the shot, and pull it down. You're throwing down on him. And on your next raise, we'll calculate how much of your raises you're putting in to do effect on him. Okay.
Okay.
So next on 5 is Melko.
Out of curiosity, so mechanically, since he's doing something that goes with his aim, that doesn't count as needing like an extra raise when he's doing the part that is not aim. Okay.
If he was way off from that, if he was, now using a sword when he came in with a pistol, then yeah.
Okay. I think then that the first thing that I'm doing is essentially, dropping that bit of darkness on Messina and I, so we can both kind of like get away and reposition. So
how many raises do you want to invest in that for defense? You've got 5 to play around with here.
Okay. I don't know that it's even so much like just defense as much as to kind of position us so that we're only dealing with one person each. Like I'm trying to get myself so that the only person I have to deal with is the agent, and so that Messina can either get herself, away from the captain or maneuver herself so that the captain is the only person she is fighting, doesn't have to deal with the swordsman or, whatever she's trying to do. It's more like setting up our maneuvering than it is.
So here's what I'm going to offer you. Let's say 1 raise will cost you to kind of do the setup.
Okay.
And then to activate it will cost you 1 raise per pairing that you want to make.
Okay.
Okay. So on 5, you're getting that set up and calling the darkness, right? Messina on 5.
Okay. I suppose I see the tapestry kind of coming down for the captain, right? I think I can grab that and kind of like see if we can get him knocked over, tripped over, and then just kind of wrapped up in the tapestry.
Okay. How many of your raises do you want to spend to negate his actions then?
Okay.
I've got 5 raises left from Ibn Majhul.
Okay. As many as I can.
Okay. So this was on 5. If you spend all your raises to grab that tapestry as Roshan gets
grab the tapestry, land on him, and we're on the floor. And
yeah, he's got the dagger. He's getting ready to go, and you land and bring that tapestry down and wrap him up, and you've got him held. And that you and he are right now for the rest of this round kind of stuck in that tussle.
Okay.
Sound good?
Yep.
I think that when that happens, the swordsman is going to realize that he needs to deal with you, and will turn and slash at you, Messina, doing 3 wounds.
Ooh. Okay.
Where are you at?
I am still moving.
Okay, but your blood is probably soaking into this tapestry,
so
and
nobody knows if anybody got stabbed by the dagger or not.
Right. And the dagger is still wrapped up in the tapestry. That was on that was the last of things on 5 because Majhul has nothing left. We go to 4, Zev.
Grab the dagger.
Okay, so I'm going to say on 4 that's going to be a setup.
You okay?
Because you're going to have to get into that tapestry and get that away from him.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so that's on 4. Next on 4, Roshan.
So Ibn Majhul is contained in the tapestry.
Contained. Zev is pulling open the tapestry thing to get at that dagger. He is right now. Majhul is pinned by Messina.
Can he
So
grab the dagger instead, or do I have to be the one?
Oh no,
grabbing the
he could grab it. You set the action up.
Okay.
No, if it's about grabbing it, because what I was thinking might, since he's sort of contained in it, I think it's more of a different direction. That maybe
Okay.
since I put this tapestry down on him, if the dagger gets positioned right, I could jump onto the carpet, pushing the captain down onto the dagger.
All right. You want to spend your raises to do that?
I'll spend them all to do it if that means I get that it happens that way.
Okay. So you've got it. You kind of pull it up, pull the thing up, and Rashawn is able to see where the dagger's positioned. And do you jump? Do you kick? How do you drive that in?
Oh, this is because I was already sort of positioned up when I was pulling the tapestry down. So I think this is throwing myself and somersaulting to land on Ibn Majul and push him down onto the dagger, so that he's, since he's basically sort of wrapped up anyway, it's forcing it in close quarters to go into him.
Okay. So I think you will hear this scream when you do that, and it's blood curdling to you, Musina, because it is the captain's voice that comes out of that throat. But then since you two are the two upright people, or actually now it's just Malco standing up. The other three are on the, working on the thing. Boom! You will see this shape appear in the air, Malco, and it rushes out of the captain. What do you do?
Muted.
I feel that, like, as much as we need to immediately take him out.
Yes.
I don't know. I really need to.
What do you do?
I think I just realize that I'm lining myself up for taking a hit from his lackeys, but I simply turn around with my bow, kind of spin out of the darkness and just let go with my magic arrows
and
try to take him out.
That shot will fire off, and this Jin is barely he's been pulled forcibly out of this a body and fragmented. And I like your suggestion, Victor. I like the idea that you fire that arrow and it catches him like a gossamer, like he's a spider web, and you'll fire it and it will fly into a vase, carrying that whole spirit into it, and you can slam down a lid on top of it.
And I say, itty bitty living space.
And the others who are here, the swordsman and the agent, they're like in shock, okay, because that was not something they expected. That was a Jin. They could feel it, and so they kind of drop their weapons and avert their eyes. Those, you're not supposed to see those things. Within a few moments, you hear the sounds of the guards running from all this, and you hear from the tapestry, "Ow, ow."
I'm gonna give the captain first aid.
I was gonna say, I think you see Messina's kind of pulling the tapestry, throwing it everywhere, just kind of trying to find him in there.
And you're pulling him out. The scholar's daughter comes running. The guards are there. They're starting to,
do not open that base.
They're starting to panic. They're like, and the scholar's daughter will get no, and she starts to talk them down.
And I'm like, do not open that vase. There's a Jin in that vase. You do not want to fuck with it.
Everyone takes a step back. So I think that's our end moment there. If we're doing now sort of the epilogue scene in the palace, or a little bit after, Zev what do we see of you in this epilogue?
In the palace?
Wherever you want to do it, here in the palace or afterwards. What is our epilogue for you here, having successfully taken down Ibn Majhul?
First fixing the fire thing. Second, fixing the palace thing. Making reparations, pretty much, healing people.
So there's a montage of you doing first aid and building and all of that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay. And the Emir, you know, you're a skilled physician. Certainly, you will be met with a good response from that. What about you, Malco? What's our epilogue shot for you?
I think that you know, while everybody is sort of in shock of doing this, I have like a little signet that, you know, just kind of flips open, has a little needle, and I kind of twist it around, kind of fade back as they're dealing with the shock of that. And I sort of, you know, breeze around past the agent as I try to whisk out the door unobtrusively, and I just sort of pat him like on the shoulder up by the clavicle where the shirt has kind of pulled away and say, unfortunately, my friend, you chose the wrong master to serve. And I, you know, kind of give him 2 quick pats to prick him with that poison needle and then disappear out the door.
That sounds perfect. What about you, Musina? Captain gets a dagger out of it.
I think, yeah, I think getting the captain out and tearing off a chunk of this priceless tapestry, I'm sure. And trying to patch him up as best she can, kind of real quick, and then one of those. Just kind of, we're both in really rough shape.
And I think the captain, having been through this, having been ridden like a beast of burden, as you're starting to do that, he will grab you and actually bend in for that kiss in front of everyone.
Okay. And I think she's probably kind of shocked at that, and it's like, yeah, he wouldn't have done that on the ship. But, that would have been a scandal on the ship.
And so, there is that bit where when he lets go of the embrace, and then there's that kind of awkward looking around at everybody, kind of.
Stay down. I am still patching up that wound.
Oh, okay. And Rashawn.
I think the last thing we see is Rashawn with the vase and the lid, and he's probably managed to swap off the plate that we're using for a more appropriate cork, and going to the, I don't remember the name of the academic.
Scholar Ahmad.
Ahmad, yeah. And Marzai, and saying, you know, and saying, I think you both know what to do with this. I think this is what has been hunting you. Can you dispose of it?
And she will say, will you come with us into the desert? There is a treasure house we must go to.
So he quickly hides the glint that comes into his eyes and says, I'm very honored by that. I would be honored to attend and assist you.
Awesome. And I think that's where we're going to end this. Thank you guys very much. Should we do roses and thorns? Do you feel like that? Or should we just say end on the epilogue? What do you think? I see a nodding from Christo. Christo saying, yep, let's end on the epilogue there. So I'm good with that. Thank you guys very much for being willing to do this. It is a system that I move from session to session as being, okay, I think I've got a hold of it too. Oh, Jesus wept. What's going on with this? But I love this setting. I think the Crescent Empire book is beautiful. I recommend it. I think actually all the 7th Sea world building stuff is dynamite and worth worth using and worth borrowing for other things. And I love everybody's characters, so thank you very much. I hope the pre-gens were okay.
I was curious. I feel like everybody was super competent. Are these starting characters, or are these characters that have been advanced a little bit?
These are starting characters.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's swashbuckling. You all have to be awesome.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true.
It's that kind of game.
Yeah,
I think we probably could have benefited from maybe like Roll20, because then we could have moved dice around and stuff. And I don't know if that would have made things slower or not.
Well, I will say we did try when I first played this. We used the Roll for Your Party, and I think Roll for Your Party is really great. Not for this, because moving the dice around was kind of a pain in the ass. I think this would be a good game for everybody to have their own dice at home. And roll and do those calculations.
Yeah, I have seen Dogs in the Vineyard done with Roll20, and it's worked really well. And that's a very moving the dice around kind of game.
Okay.
But maybe experiment at some time.
Yeah. Thank you guys very much. I appreciate you taking a chance on this. I enjoyed everybody's characters, and I'm going to stop the broadcast then.